Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. Think about your brilliance, something that you use almost on a daily basis. It can be at work, it can be at home, around others when you're by yourself, but it's one of the things that makes you magnificent. Now, think about yesterday and how much you used it. Out of all that percentage, what piece was used to make life easier? Based on your brilliance, 50%, 75%, 80%? And how much was used? What piece was used for you to be better? Not to make life easier, but for you to be better. And here's a good indication. How much anxiety, how much depression, how much overwhelming stress, how many problems do you think you have? And that will show you that you've been using your brilliance for life to be easier instead of you to be better. See, there's something known as comfort creep. And it will cause chaos in your life. Comfort creep. Doesn't that sound like a really bad name for a peeping Tom? Okay, what is comfort creep? It simply means that when you do something to make your life easier, that you will become habituated to it in anywhere from 3 days to 3 weeks. And then it loses its ability to inspire you. And what you'll do then is you'll look for the next thing to make life easier, and the next thing, and the next thing. Why is that a problem? Shouldn't we be going after what makes life easier? No, because that's not how our brain works. When you go after things that make life easier instead of making you better, you're programming your mind that ease and comfort is based on things outside of you, not what you can handle on the inside. And this is where the anxiety and the depression and the overwhelming experiences of stress show up because your mind wants to be challenged. It wants to bring you out at what you're phenomenal at. But it can't because you've assigned power to things outside of you. You know, it was wonderful whenever grocery stores said, hey, you know what? Order online and then show up and we'll bring it out to your car. And then it was like, oh my gosh, just order online and then we'll deliver the groceries to you. And then, oh, I don't need to do a drive through anymore for my food. I can have it delivered. Did you know over in Japan, there is a large group of people in the thousands who haven't left their homes for years. Are they happier than the rest of us? No, they're absolutely miserable. In fact, a lot of times this is when panic disorders can set in from being isolated like this. Oh, but then I don't need to tell you that. We all just went through COVID and we saw mental health challenges absolutely skyrocket. Why? Because, well, let me ask you this. Whenever it first showed up that we were going to have some sort of lockdown, did you tell yourself, I am going to come through this stronger, fitter, leaner, with better relationships, with an increased capacity to impact the lives of others. I'm going to come through this better, b- exponentially than when I went in. Or did you say, oh, I wonder how long this is going to last? What else are they going to take from us? Oh my gosh, how bad can this hurt? Hmm. Yeah, 20% went in going, hey, I'm going to be better when I come out. And the other 80% wind up working for that 20%. I want you to have the ability to choose. But to do so, we have to look at how you've lowered the threshold for what causes you discomfort. Psychological study showed people pictures, hundreds of pictures, and said, about half of these people are not going to be the type you want to hang around with, and the other half are going to be pleasant. Pick them out. And the pictures they showed them were along those lines. Then they showed another group pictures, and they said, hey, half of these people you want to stay away from, bad people, and the other half are going to be, pleasant, nice. But they showed them pictures where just about everyone was a nice person, that they were presenting the smiles and looking open and friendly. Well, did that mean that the people picked out less that were going to be bad? No. They lowered the threshold and said, oh, this one is smiling, but they're not showing their teeth. And their eyes aren't crinkling up. And I get a bad vibe off the way they look. Oh my gosh, you have been lowering the threshold on being comfortable, and it's no longer a comfort zone, it's a familiar zone. And it has gotten so small, it is feeling like a noose around your heart, and it's choking out anything you want to be able to experience in order to move forward and live the life that you desire. Yes, comfort creep will cause chaos with anxiety, depression, overwhelming stress, and flooding emotions. So, what do you need to do? You need to put yourself in uncomfortable positions on purpose. Hmm. Yeah. I'd recommend at least once a month. Honestly, I do mine almost every single day. You've heard me talking about the different hikes that I do, and the different walks. I'll give you some insider insight. When I'm out hiking, my last hike, we've had a lot of water where I live, a lot of rainfall. I've never experienced this before. It was a 7-mile hike, and I'm going to say 6.5 miles were through mosquito infested woods. Now, luckily, I had enough spray that they weren't biting, but they were going up my nose. I'm a mouth breather whenever I start getting hot and sweaty. I was swallowing them, and it was this constant fog of bugs around us all the time. Did we turn around and go back? No. It was, we got to move through this. When I'm on a more challenging hike, I'm not doing it for the scenery and, oh, look, I'm going to be so inspired. I'm sweating. I'm hurting. I can't focus except on the next step in front of me to keep from falling. And I'm doing it on purpose to train myself that I decide what makes me comfortable. It's not the physical challenge, it's the emotional and mental. And for some of you, you've not been challenged this way. You've been chasing comfort, and it shows because you're out of control in your life. Your brain is hungry to create and produce and accomplish in that order. But to be able to do so, it needs to know that it can handle whatever is coming your way. So you need to start picking how you're going to put yourself in a challenging position. You either choose your challenge or your problem will pick you. So, 3 rules to go by on how you're going to be challenging yourself. It needs to be hard with roughly a half amount of failure rate, 50% failure. I've told you before in the past, depending on how long you've listened to this podcast, about the mountain peak that I had to stop 150 feet from the top because I could no longer push myself. I had completely melted down. I wasn't even sure that I was going to be able to get off that mountainside. That's how bad it was. So you've got to pick something where there is a good chance you're not going to be able to finish it. Second thing is you really shouldn't have the capacity to die. Okay, you want to limit that. I will say whitewater rafting last summer. Go back to the podcast that says that the title of it is You Are Going to Have to Participate in Your Own Rescue, was based on that whitewater incident. I had never gone rafting before and decided to choose the Olympic Rapids. And I am so glad I did. But yeah, at one point it got so risky that they told me they thought they were going to have to do a body recovery. So that I kind of pushed it to the edge on that one. But then also I've been doing this for a lot longer. So you may want to dial back the risk. And number 3, you don't tell anybody. You'll only hear about my challenges if I decide to share them with you after I'm done. And only for the life lesson that I've learned that you can then capitalize on. So this is not an Instagram moment. This is not a Facebook post. This is between you and what you think you can accomplish and what you've been conditioned to accept in the way of comfort. Because you have no idea what you can absolutely achieve. No idea whatsoever. Because you are chasing the wrong thing. Not your fault. You are programmed and conditioned to do that. You were programmed and conditioned to make life easier for somebody else. And then at some point they said, okay, now make life easier for you. Nope. Don't ask for it to get better. Ask for you to be more brilliant. Okay. If I can assist you with this, 1-636-699-7791. Again, 1-636-699-7791. It is time to start programming your mind to choose your challenges, because I think you've had enough of your problems picking you, and your problems pick on you because you've learned to hang out in a familiar zone that is now becoming the choke zone, and it's keeping all life out. So we need to get you out of the familiar zone, through the terror barrier, because that's going to show up, and over to the other side of growth. And we need to use everything about you, everything you have ever experienced in life, heard, read, felt, seen, listened to, read all of it to be able to move you into that growth. Because right now you dip your toes into the terror barrier and go, oh no, I must go find some more comfort. And you run the other direction. There's no place else to run. That familiar zone has become so small, it's strangling you. Time to open it up because you chose to. So until we get together again, blessings on your brilliance for you becoming better.